In this video, we're going to learn how to add brands into your benchmarking module in Sprinklr. We'll also talk about limitations when it comes to personal accounts. In Sprinklr benchmarking, everything starts with brands. Brands are the core units we use to set up competitive analysis. By adding a brand, you can pull in public data from social media accounts, whether it's your own brand accounts, a competitor's, or even an influencer. Sprinklr supports 8 key social networks. All you need to do is add the public or business account URL and Sprinklr will begin fetching the relevant data automatically. This setup allows you to monitor performance, compare strategies, and gain insights across the social landscape in one centralized space. Let's get started. First, open a new page by clicking on the plus option on the very top left-hand side of your screen. This will take you to the Sprinklr Launchpad. Once on the Launchpad, make sure you are accessing the Sprinklr Insights module. Scroll down to the Manage section, and within the Manage section, you should see Brands. Click on Brands, and this will open the Brands Record Manager. The Brands Record Manager shows you all the brands that were previously added to the environment, be it your competitor brands, your own brand accounts, or even your influencer accounts. You have a search bar on the top to go ahead and search for your brands by names. And moving to the right, you have an option to add filters or show filters and hide filters. You can also go ahead and group your brand accounts by metrics such as category and accounts. You can also have more actions such as brand activity, which is a very important feature. By clicking on brand activity, this gives you an overall view of the total accounts used. This shows you the number of accounts that have been used from the number you've already been allocated and the remaining number of accounts that you can use. This makes sure that you are planning all your brands to have the right accounts added. With it, more actions. You can also bulk import brands, you can refresh, you can manage columns, you can also export brand activity report from Sprinklr. Now, to the very right hand side of your screen, you have the Add Brand option. You can click on Add Brand, and here you are asked to select 3 different options. You can add your own brand accounts, you can add an influencer account, or you can add your competitor accounts. Let's start with My Brand. In order to start adding your own brand accounts, you click on My Brand, and within My Brand, let's go ahead and add quick My Brand account that I want to use as a test. For testing purposes and our learning purposes, let's go ahead and use Louvre, the museum in France, and search for Louvre. There you go. That's the brand that I want to go ahead and add. So you simply search your brand name. And in case your brand name does not pop up in the database, you also have an option to create brand. Now that we have a brand populating right here in the database, I'm clicking on the brand name and selecting next at the bottom right hand side of my screen. When I select next, I'm asked to go ahead and add a brand name. If I want to customize it, I can also go ahead and give it a description. And most importantly, I'm asked to mark the brand category. It is always important to it is always important to mark your brand category as my brand, or competitor brand, or influencer brand. Since this is my brand, I'm going to make sure this is my brand and click on next. Now, as soon as you click on next, all the public facing accounts of Louvre have been fetched automatically into Sprinklr. Now, this is something that you are expected to see when the brand is already part of the database. In case you are looking for a particular page and you don't see that page popping up, what you can do is you can just simply click on Add Accounts and search for the page you're looking for. Let's say I'm looking for Abu Dhabi, which is not the case, but in case I want to add in more accounts, I am given an option to go ahead and add accounts in this page as well. Once I do that, I click on next. And here, based on the environment that you have and how custom built it is, you would have custom fields that you can tag. Custom field properties are very important because they help you in filtering and in creating the right reports. So it's always best practice that you add the right custom tags to your brands so that you can have a very accurate reporting on your brands. Let's go ahead and mark a couple of custom fields like country, region, and the respective fields that you think you should mark, right? Once you do that, you can click on create, and that will go ahead and create your brand. And my brand is right here. Louvre, the museum, is my brand, and I just see that it's right in the record manager, and I see the three accounts. I have X, Facebook, and Instagram added. I can go ahead and edit the brand details, look into the details, check the activity of the brand, and even delete the brand if given the right permissions. Now, let's go ahead and look into how can you add a competitor brand. By clicking on Add Brand again on the top right hand side, I'm going to select competitor. The process is very similar to adding your own brand accounts. However, let's quickly see how to add your competitor brand. My competitor brand here is the British Museum. So I'm going to quickly look for British Museum. With what I understand, the British Museum is not part of the database. Should I panic? Absolutely not. What I would do instead is go ahead and click on Create Brand. Quickly enter the name of the brand. There you go. Add in a description if needed. Make sure I mark my competitor brand as the competitor, right? I can also quickly click on Upload or Browse Logos to quickly give a logo. I can either take it up from the DAN or upload an image from my desktop. And there you go. I have my image uploaded from my desktop, save, and click on Next at the bottom right hand side of my screen. Once I click on Next, it's time for me to start adding my social accounts. In order to go ahead and add my social accounts, although it's not part of the database, I need not worry. All I need to do is click on the plus URL option, the bottom right hand of the pop-up, and click on plus URL. Now, I would simply go ahead and search for the British Museum social pages. Right? I'd find all the social pages of British Museum, fetch the URL from the social page, the public facing account especially, paste the URL and click on enter. And there you go. That's my Facebook page right there. And I can similarly go ahead and look up for the Instagram page and fetch the URL of the British Museum Instagram page. Add the URL into Sprinklr by clicking on plus URL. Okay, there you go. That's my Instagram account. I have added the three social public accounts of British Museum from their respective social pages. And once I am happy with the accounts that I've added in, I can click on Next and mark my custom field properties as we did earlier for your own brand and click on Create. So that is how you would add a competitor brand. And the same applies to add influencers as well. You click on influencers and go ahead and do the same process. This is how you would add both your brand and your competitor accounts. Now, a couple of things to keep in mind. When you add your Facebook, Instagram, or any of the public accounts, it is always important to remember that due to API limitations, benchmarking only fetches data from public pages. It does not support personal accounts or private pages. So likes, shares, reactions, comments, and retweets are only tracked from public-facing brand pages. You have learned how to add your brand accounts to Sprinklr as well as your competitor brand accounts. Always remember, even if your brand does not show up in this search, you can always create it from scratch. And don't forget that benchmarking only pulls data from public pages, not personal or private accounts. Now that your brand is set up, you're all set to start monitoring key metrics and compare your brand's performance against competitors. Thank you for watching. I will see you on the next video on how to use the benchmarking dashboards.